A Werewolf Shifter Romance, written by Amelia Hart. Chapter 1. The Altar Stone. The scent of death clings to the village tonight. Not the sharp metallic tang of fresh blood, but something older. Something that seeps into wood and stone and refuses to let go. Iris Redmayne stands at the edge of the ancient clearing, her bare feet numb against frozen earth. The white ceremonial tunic they dressed her in offers no warmth. She does not ask for a cloak. There is no point in comfort when you are walking toward your own ending. 23 dead in 2 months. The number rolls through her mind as pack members form a circle around the altar stone. 23 wolves who lost the ability to shift before their bodies gave out. Iris watched each one fade, held their hands as healers failed, used every herb and tincture she knew, and still they died screaming. She is 19 years old. She has been a healer since she was 14, when her first weak transformation revealed the truth. Her wolf is pathetic, small and pale, lasting barely minutes before forcing her back to human skin. The pack accepted her failure because omegas are meant to heal, not hunt. Now they will use that failure to save themselves. Alpha Ulrich Bloodcrest waits beside the stone, silver dagger gleaming in his scarred hand. The burns that cover half his face twist his expression into something unreadable. But Iris knows what lives behind those black eyes. Contempt. He has never forgiven her for being too weak to save her father. 3 years ago, Beta Samuel Redmayne died in a rogue attack on the territory. Or so everyone believes. The official story never sat right with Iris. But grief has a way of blurring truth. Her mother stands at the front of the crowd, silent tears tracking down weathered cheeks. She has not shifted since Samuel died. Shame broke something fundamental inside her wolf. Now she watches her only daughter walk toward death with the same blank acceptance she has worn for 3 years. Iris Redmayne. Ulrich's voice carries over the assembled pack. You come willingly to this sacred place. It is not a question. There is no willingness in sacrifice, only necessity. I do. Her voice sounds steadier than she feels. The sickness that plagues our pack demands ancient payment. The spirits of the forest hunger. Only the blood of a pure omega, given under the moon's witness, will turn their wrath from us. Iris wants to laugh. Spirits. As if the forest cares about pack politics or dying wolves. But she bites her tongue. Let them have their stories. Let them believe her death means something. She climbs onto the altar stone. The surface is smooth from centuries of use. How many others have lain here? How many throats has this stone drunk from? The pack begins to chant. Old words in a language Iris barely understands. Her heart hammers against her ribs. She will not beg. Will not give Ulrich the satisfaction of seeing her break. But her wolf howls inside her chest. The weak, pathetic creature that has never been enough suddenly wants desperately to live. Ulrich raises the dagger. Moonlight catches the silver blade, turning it white as bone. For the pack, he says. For the pack. The crowd echoes. The blade descends toward her throat, and in that moment, Iris saw it. Not desperation, not devotion to ancient spirits, but calculation. Ulrich's eyes did not hold the faith of a leader praying for salvation. They held the fear of a man caught in someone else's game. Acting a part he had no choice but to play. Then the forest explodes. 3 massive wolves burst into the clearing from different directions. Not normal wolves. These creatures move with supernatural speed, their forms larger than any shifter Iris has ever seen. Power radiates from them in waves that slam into the pack with physical force. Iris feels it, a pressure that makes her weak wolf whimper and curl tight inside her chest. This is Alpha Command, pure and absolute. Around her, pack members drop to their knees. Some shift involuntarily, their wolves forcing submission. Even Ulrich staggers back from the altar, the dagger falling from nerveless fingers. The 3 wolves circle the clearing. One is pure black with eyes like molten gold. Another is silver gray, lean and lethal. The third is russet brown with amber-green eyes that seem to see through skin and bone. They transform. The shift happens faster than Iris thought possible. One moment, 3 enormous wolves. The next, 3 men standing naked and unashamed in the moonlight. The black wolf becomes a man with dark hair falling past his shoulders, broad shoulders covered in battle scars, and a short beard that does nothing to soften the hard line of his jaw. He radiates authority that makes even the air feel heavy. The silver wolf shifts into a younger man with wild blonde-gray hair and ice-blue eyes. Tribal tattoos cover his forearms. He moves with the easy confidence of someone who has never doubted his place in the world. The russet wolf transforms into a man with short, dark curls and a jagged scar running down the left side of his face. His amber-green eyes hold intelligence and calculation in equal measure. The black-haired man steps forward. When he speaks, his voice carries the weight of absolute command. I am Fenrir Ironjaw, Alpha King of the Northern Territories. This pack is now under royal investigation. Alpha King. The words send shock through Iris like lightning. The Alpha King is legend, the wolf who commands all other alphas, the supreme authority of their kind. And he is standing in her pack's sacred clearing, looking at Ulrich with undisguised contempt. Alpha Ulrich Bloodcrest. Fenrir continues. You stand accused of attempting to perform a blood sacrifice, a practice banned 50 years ago by the accord I personally implemented. Explain yourself. Ulrich's mouth opens and closes. For once, he seems at a loss for words. The blond man moves past Fenrir, examining the bodies of the dead that line the clearing's edge. They were brought here as evidence. Proof of the sickness that justified the sacrifice. These deaths were not natural. The blonde's voice is rough, angry. I can smell it. Poisoning. Aconite mixed into wounds. Someone has been murdering your pack members systematically. The crowd erupts in shocked whispers. Iris's mind reels. Murder? Not sickness at all? The scarred man approaches the altar. He stops beside Iris, still lying frozen on the stone. His nostrils flare as he breathes in her scent. His eyes widen. He looks at Fenrir, then at the blond man. Something passes between them. Recognition. Shock. Impossible, the scarred man breathes. Not impossible, Fenrir says quietly. Rare, but not impossible. Iris does not understand what they mean, but the way they are looking at her now makes her skin prickle with awareness. The blond man returns from examining the bodies. His ice-blue eyes meet Iris's for a long moment. Something in his expression softens. She is the only one worth saving in this whole damned pack, he says. Look at her. Face death without begging. That takes courage. Fenrir nods. He turns back to Ulrich. You are under arrest for violation of the blood accord. You will be taken to the royal fortress for trial. No. Ulrich's voice cracks. You don't understand. The sickness. There is no sickness. Fenrir's words cut through the protest. Only murder disguised as plague. And you were complicit. Guards emerge from the forest. Members of the royal pack, wearing the king's colors. They seize Ulrich, binding his hands with silver chains that burn against his skin. Fenrir approaches the altar. Iris forces herself to remain still as he leans close. His scent washes over her. Pine and snow and something wild that makes her weak wolf stir despite its fear. What is your name? His voice is gentler now. Iris. Iris Redmane. Iris. He tests the name. You are under my protection now. No one will harm you. He reaches for the bindings at her wrists. The moment his fingers brush her skin, heat flares between them. Iris gasps. Fenrir's eyes widen, gold brightening to almost white. The other two men move closer. The blonde grasps her ankle to untie the rope there. The scarred man steadies her shoulder as she sits up. Each touch sends warmth flooding through her veins. This is wrong. This is not how shifters react to strangers. My name is Callum Stormclaw, the blonde says. Alpha of the Northern Regional Packs. Orin Nightfang, the scarred man adds. Alpha of the Eastern Territories. 2 regional alphas and the king himself. All here, all touching her, all looking at her with expressions that mix confusion with something deeper. You will come with us to the royal fortress, Fenrir says. As a witness, and for your own safety. Iris wants to argue, wants to demand answers, but exhaustion crashes over her. She has spent 2 months watching her pack die. She has spent tonight preparing for her own death. Now 3 of the most powerful alphas in the realm are telling her she will live. Fenrir lifts her from the altar stone as if she weighs nothing. He carries her toward the horses waiting at the forest's edge. Callum and Oren flank them, eyes scanning the pack for threats. Iris looks back once. Her mother stands motionless in the crowd. Their eyes meet across the distance. There is no relief in her mother's expression. Only fear. Then Iris sees Ulrich being dragged away by the guards. Despite the silver burning his wrists, despite the chains weighing him down, he turns his head, finds her gaze, and smiles. It is not the smile of a broken man facing justice. It is cold, calculated. The smile of someone who knows a secret. Dread coils in Iris's stomach. Whatever is happening here, it is far from over. Chapter 2. The Northern Road. The horses move through darkness at a pace that would kill ordinary mounts. These are shifter-bred, stronger and faster than their mortal cousins. Iris clings to Fenrir's waist as forest blurs past on either side. She has never ridden like this, never moved through the world with such speed and purpose. Her pack stayed close to their territory. Venturing beyond the borders was forbidden for someone like her. Callum rides to their left, his silver-gray hair catching moonlight. Oren flanks the right, those amber-green eyes constantly scanning the shadows. They move in perfect coordination, 3 predators guarding their prize. Except Iris is not a prize. She is a confused 19-year-old who nearly died on an altar stone hours ago. The adrenaline is wearing off now. Exhaustion settles into her bones. Her hands shake where they grip Fenrir's cloak. She wants to ask questions, wants to demand explanations for the heat that flared when they touched her, for the strange looks they exchanged, for why the Alpha King himself came to her pack's clearing, but her voice refuses to work. They ride until the moon reaches its peak. Then Fenrir raises a hand. The party slows, stopping in a small clearing beside a frozen stream. Iris slides from the horse on unsteady legs. Her body aches. The thin ceremonial tunic offers no protection against winter cold. Callum appears beside her, draping a heavy fur cloak over her shoulders. The gesture is casual, but his fingers linger a moment too long on her arms. That warmth again, spreading from the points of contact like liquid fire in her veins. You need to eat. His voice is gentler than his appearance suggests. When did you last have food? Iris tries to remember. Yesterday morning? The day before? Time blurred as the pack prepared for her sacrifice. I don't know. Callum curses under his breath. He produces dried meat and bread from his saddlebag, pressing them into her hands. Eat. All of it. She wants to refuse. Wants to maintain some dignity. But her stomach betrays her, growling loudly enough that Oren chuckles from across the clearing. The food tastes better than anything she remembers. Or maybe she is just that hungry. Fenrir builds a fire with swift movements. No fumbling with flint and tinder. His hands move with certainty, coaxing flame from wood as if commanding it to burn. Once the fire crackles to life, the 3 alphas settle around it. They do not eat, do not speak. Simply watch her with those unsettling eyes. Iris finishes the food and wraps the cloak tighter. The fur smells like Callum, pine and ice and something wild underneath. You have questions. Fenrir's voice breaks the silence. Iris laughs. The sound comes out bitter. Questions? I have nothing but questions. Then ask. Where does she even start? Why were you at my pack's territory? How did you know about the sacrifice? We have been investigating the sickness for months, Oren says. He sits with his back against a tree, relaxed, but alert. It appeared first in my territory 5 years ago. Several pack members died before we could identify the cause, but by then the pattern had vanished. 5 years? Iris frowns. The sickness only appeared in my pack 2 months ago. Because it is not natural. Callum's jaw tightens. Someone is creating these outbreaks deliberately, targeting specific packs. Iris almost told him she had already heard this from Oren by the fire. But the raw fury in Callum's voice stopped her. It wasn't about new knowledge. It was about how deeply each of them carried the same wound. Different voices, same grief. And somehow, that made the truth heavier, not lighter. But why? The 3 alphas exchange glances. Some wordless communication passes between them. That, Fenrir says carefully, is what we are trying to discover. Iris's mind races. If the deaths were murder, then her sacrifice would have been pointless. All those people convinced she would save them, and it was a lie from the beginning. My pack, she says slowly. Are they safe now? For the moment. Fenrir leans forward, firelight catching the gold in his eyes. But whoever orchestrated this will not stop with one pack. There have been similar outbreaks reported across 3 regions, always the same pattern. Omegas disappearing first, then pack members dying. Omegas disappearing? The words chill her. How many? At least 15 over the past 5 years. Oren's voice goes flat, distant. Including my younger sister. Iris's breath catches. Your sister was taken? Neve. She was 18, an Omega healer like you. His scarred face reveals nothing, but pain lives in his eyes. One day she was investigating the sickness in our pack. The next, she was gone. No body. No trace. As if the forest swallowed her whole. 5 years of searching for a missing sister. Iris cannot imagine that kind of dedication. That kind of love. I'm sorry, she whispers. Oren shrugs, but the gesture is too forced to be casual. We will find who took her. And when we do, they will beg for death long before I grant it. The promise in his voice makes Iris shiver. This is not the bravado of youth. This is the cold certainty of a man who has spent years preparing for vengeance. Callum shifts, drawing her attention. The bond you felt when we touched you. Do you understand what it means? Iris shakes her head. She knows about mate bonds, of course. Every shifter does. The moon goddess chooses pairs, binding souls together through instinct and fate. But 3 bonds? That should be impossible. There are legends, Callum continues. Old stories about Omegas who could bond with multiple alphas. They were called bridgewalkers. Wolves who could unite territories through their connections. You think I'm one of these bridgewalkers? For a long moment, none of them spoke. Even Fenrir's command faltered beneath the weight of the impossible. Callum's wolf paced restless behind his eyes, torn between awe and rejection. Oren's jaw tightened, as if bracing for a war no blade could win. 3 bonds, Fenrir whispered at last. The last time this happened, kingdoms fell. The silence that followed was not of wonder, but of dread. We don't think. Fenrir's voice carried conviction, but even he faltered. Callum's hands curled into fists, as though ready to tear the bond from his own flesh. Oren shook his head, refusing the idea outright. This should not exist, Oren hissed. 3 bonds cannot hold. It will destroy us. Only after a long silence did Fenrir continue, steadier than before. We know. The moment Oren scented you on that altar, we all felt it. Recognition. Our wolves acknowledged you as mate. The word slams into Iris. Mate. Not just 1, but 3. That's insane, she breathes. You don't even know me. Bonds do not require knowledge, Oren says. They require truth. And the truth is that your scent calls to our wolves in a way nothing else ever has. Iris wants to argue. Wants to deny the heat that floods through her whenever they are near. But she cannot lie to herself. She felt it too. So what happens now? Her voice comes out smaller than intended. Now, Fenrir says, we keep you safe until we understand what you truly are, and we find who is murdering packs. Sleep should be impossible, but exhaustion wins. Iris curls close to the fire, wrapped in Callum's cloak. She drifts in and out of awareness, half conscious of the 3 alphas taking watch in rotation. She wakes to screaming. Rogues pour into the clearing from all sides, not the desperate, half-mad rogues who usually wander the wilderness. These move with coordination. Purpose. Iris scrambles to her feet as Fenrir shifts. His massive black wolf form explodes into motion, meeting the first attacker mid-leap. They collide with bone-breaking force. Callum and Oren shift simultaneously, their wolves flanking Iris on either side. A wall of fur and muscle between her and the rogues. The battle is brutal. Rogues keep coming, wave after wave. Too many for coincidence. One breaks through the defensive line, lunging for Iris. She throws up her hands instinctively. Callum intercepts, his jaws closing around the rogue's throat. But 3 more pile onto him, claws tearing through silver fur. Blood sprays across frozen ground. Callum goes down under their weight. Something inside Iris breaks open. Power floods through her hands, hot and urgent. She throws herself toward the pile of snarling bodies, pressing her palms against Callum's torn side. Heat pours from her in waves. She feels it knitting flesh, sealing wounds, pushing poison from his blood. The sensation is overwhelming, like her entire being is channeling through her hands. The mate bond activates. Not gradually, not gently. It slams into both of them with the force of a physical blow. Iris gasps as emotions not her own flood her consciousness. Callum's pain, his determination, his fierce protectiveness, and underneath, a longing so intense it steals her breath. Callum shifts back to human form, his ice-blue eyes wide with shock. "What did you—" A rogue tries for Iris's throat. Oren tears it apart before the creature gets within 3 feet. Fenrir's wolf appears, covered in blood that is not his own. He stands over a rogue that is still twitching, his golden eyes sweeping the clearing. The attack ends as suddenly as it started. The remaining rogues flee into darkness, leaving their dead behind. Callum sits up slowly, running hands over his ribs. The wounds are gone, not scarred, but completely healed, as if they never existed. "Your hands," he says quietly. "They're glowing." Iris looks down. Faint silver light emanates from her palms, fading even as she watches. Fenrir shifts back to human form. He moves to the body of a dying rogue, crouching beside it. "Who sent you?" The rogue's eyes roll. Blood bubbles at its mouth. "Who?" Fenrir's voice carries command that cannot be denied. "Paid," the rogue gasps. "Gold. Bring the red mane Omega. Alive." "Paid by whom?" "The collector." The rogue's body spasms. He gathers the special ones. Omegas with gifts. Then the light leaves its eyes. Fenrir stands, his expression grim. He looks at Iris, then at Callum and Oren. "Someone knows what she is," he says. "And they want her badly enough to send an organized strike team. The collector." Oren spits the words. "I've heard whispers of that name. A network that traffics in rare shifters." Iris's legs give out. She sinks to the ground, mind reeling. This is too much. Mate bonds, healing powers, mysterious collectors who send rogues to kidnap her. Callum drops to one knee beside her, his hand gentle on her shoulder. Through the bond, she feels his concern, his desire to protect. "We need to reach the fortress," Fenrir says. Tonight's attack proves she's not safe in the open. They ride through what remains of the night. By dawn, a massive structure appears on the horizon. Gray stone walls rising against the sky. The royal fortress, seat of the Alpha King's power. Iris has never seen anything so imposing, or so much like a prison. Chapter 3. Stone walls. The royal fortress is everything Iris expected, and nothing she prepared for. Gray stone rises 5 stories high, crowned with battlements where guards pace in constant rotation. The main gate alone could swallow her entire pack's village whole. She is given chambers in the eastern wing. The room is larger than the cottage she shared with her mother. Tapestries cover the walls, depicting battles and coronations. A fire already burns in the hearth. Fresh clothes wait on the bed, luxury that feels like a cage. Guards stand outside her door. "For protection," Fenrir said. But Iris hears the unspoken truth. She is a witness to crimes committed by a regional alpha. She is also an Omega with abilities no one understands. They will not risk losing her. The first day passes in a blur of questions. Representatives from the Council of Alphas arrive, demanding explanations for Fenrir's actions. Why arrest Ulrich without trial? Why interfere in pack business? Why bring an unknown Omega to the royal seat? Iris listens from her chambers, as raised voices echo through stone corridors. The politics of their world are more complex than she realized. Fenrir may be Alpha King, but his authority is not absolute. He must answer to the council, must justify every decision that affects the delicate balance of power. On the second morning, A knock sounds at her door. A hunched figure enters, leaning heavily on a walking stick. An elderly man with gray hair and penetrating eyes that seem far too sharp for his weathered face. "I am Godric," he says, voice soft but clear. "Royal healer. His Majesty requested I examine you, ensure you suffered no lasting harm from your ordeal." Iris sits straighter on the edge of her bed. Something about this man makes her uneasy. Or perhaps she is simply suspicious of everyone now. Godric moves closer, his examination gentle but thorough. He checks her pulse, looks into her eyes, presses gnarled fingers against her throat, where Ulrich's blade almost cut. "You are an Omega healer," he says. Not a question. His fingers brushed the faint crescent mark on her shoulder, lingering too long. "Curious," he murmured. "A scar that carries no scent of wound." Iris felt unease coil in her stomach, but she said nothing. Later she would remember this moment, and understand that the mark was not invisible by accident. It had been cloaked with old magic, the kind that even alphas could overlook if they weren't searching for it. "I was in my pack. Your abilities are rare, child. Very rare indeed." His eyes gleam with something that might be interest or hunger. "How long have you been able to heal?" "Since I was 14. Small things mostly. Cuts. Bruises. Nothing like what I did for Callum." "Ah, yes. The Alpha spoke of it. You healed mortal wounds in moments." Godric leans back, studying her. "Tell me about your family, your bloodline." The questions continue for an hour. Iris answers carefully, uncertain how much to reveal. Godric seems knowledgeable, even kind, but she cannot shake the feeling that he is cataloging information for purposes she does not understand. When he finally leaves, Iris collapses back onto the bed. Exhaustion pulls at her, but sleep refuses to come. Too many questions circle her mind. The third day brings Callum to her door. "You need to move," he says without preamble. "Sitting in these chambers will drive you mad. Come." He leads her to a training yard behind the fortress. Warriors spar in pairs, their movements fluid and deadly. Iris has never seen fighting on this level. Her pack's warriors trained, but nothing compared to this precision. "Pick up a staff." Callum gestures to a rack of practice weapons. "I don't know how to fight." "Then it's time you learned." His ice blue eyes hold challenge and something gentler underneath. "You healed me, Iris. Saved my life. The least I can do is teach you to save your own." The first hour is humiliating. Iris cannot predict his movements, cannot defend against even basic strikes. She ends up on her back more times than she can count. But Callum is patient. He shows her how to stand, how to move, how to read an opponent's intention before they strike. His hands adjust her grip, guide her stance. Each touch sends warmth through their partial bond. "You're thinking too much," he says after knocking her down again. "Your wolf knows how to fight. You just need to listen to her. My wolf is weak. Your wolf is terrified." He offers a hand, pulling her to her feet. There's a difference. They break for water. Iris's muscles ache in ways she did not know possible. "Why are you doing this?" she asks. Callum is quiet for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice carries weight of old pain. 10 years ago, I led a pack in the far north. 53 wolves, strong, proud. He stares at nothing, seeing a past Iris cannot access. Raiders came. Humans who knew what we were. They burned everything, slaughtered everyone. Everyone? I was out hunting. When I returned, the smoke was already rising. His jaw clenches. I was Alpha. I was supposed to protect them. Instead, I survived while they died. Iris reaches for his hand without thinking. The bond between them pulses, sharing his grief, his guilt that mirrors her own. "You couldn't have saved them," she says quietly. "Maybe not, but I can save you." He meets her eyes. "I won't fail again." That evening, Iris seeks the library. The fortress holds more books than she knew existed. Shelves reach from floor to ceiling, filled with histories and laws and texts on healing arts. She finds Oren there, surrounded by open volumes. He looks up as she enters, something unreadable crossing his scarred face. "Cannot sleep either?" he asks. "Too many thoughts." He gestures to the chair across from him. Iris sits, watching as he turns pages with careful fingers. What are you reading? Everything I can find about Omegas who disappeared. He taps a passage. There are patterns. Always healers. Always between the ages of 16 and 25. Always vanishing near pack territories, experiencing strange sicknesses. Like your sister. Like Neve. Pain flickers across his features. She was investigating the illness when she disappeared. I should have stopped her. Should have kept her safe. You couldn't have known. I knew something was wrong. His voice goes hard. I felt it. But I was too focused on pack politics, on proving myself as alpha. By the time I realized the danger, she was gone. Iris studies the scar that runs down his face. How did you get that? Searching for her. I tracked a lead into rogue territory 2 years ago. They did not appreciate the intrusion. He smiles without humor. Worth it, though. I learned that someone is collecting Omegas, building something. I just don't know what. They talk deep into the night. Oren teaches her about pack politics, about the careful balance of power that keeps their world from descending into chaos, about the factions within the council who resent Fenrir's reforms, who want to return to older, harsher ways. You must understand, Oren says carefully. Your presence here is politically dangerous. A triple mate bond has not occurred in 300 years. If the council learns of it, they will use you as a weapon against Fenrir. How? They will claim he saved you for selfish reasons, that he manipulates pack law for personal gain. It could destabilize everything he has built. The weight of that truth settles over Iris. She is not just a rescued Omega. She is a political complication that could topple kingdoms. Days pass in this new rhythm. Mornings with Callum, learning to fight. Afternoons with Godric, who continues his examinations and endless questions about her abilities. Evenings in the library with Oren, piecing together the puzzle of missing Omegas. Fenrir she sees only at a distance. He watches from balconies as she trains, passes her in corridors with guards always present, maintains careful, professional distance that feels wrong given the bond simmering between them. On the 10th day, a messenger arrives with news that changes everything. 15 packs across 3 regions are reporting the same mysterious illness. The pattern is identical to what happened in Iris's pack. Deaths mounting. Desperation rising. The council convenes in emergency session. Iris is called to testify. The Great Hall holds 50 alphas, representatives from every major pack in the Northern Territories. They watch her with expressions ranging from curiosity to contempt. A 19-year-old Omega, standing before the most powerful wolves in the realm. Fenrir sits at the head table, his face carved from stone. Beside him, the council elders lean forward, hungry for any weakness to exploit. Tell us, the eldest says, his voice dripping false concern. Why should we believe these deaths are murder and not natural plague? Iris recounts everything. The symptoms, the timeline, Callum's identification of poison in the wounds, the rogue who confessed before dying that someone called the Collector paid gold for her capture. The hall erupts in argument. Some alphas demand action. Others claim she is lying, that Fenrir orchestrated this entire situation to expand his power. Through it all, Fenrir says nothing, simply watches her with those golden eyes that seem to see everything she tries to hide. That night, the fortress hosts a formal banquet. Iris is required to attend, dressed in clothes that feel foreign against her skin. She sits at a table with minor nobles and regional representatives, aware of every eye that tracks her movement. The food is rich. Too rich. Meat and sauces she does not recognize, wine that burns her throat. Halfway through the meal, her vision blurs. The room tilts sideways. Iris grips the table edge, trying to steady herself. Around her, conversation continues, oblivious to her distress. Poison. She knows it with sudden, terrible certainty. Someone has poisoned her food, but this was not the clawing agony that tried to stop her heart in the forest. This was different. Slower, colder, clouding her thoughts, twisting her vision. Not meant to kill her outright, but to silence her. To erase her credibility before the council. A political poison more than a mortal one. Iris tries to stand. Her legs refuse to cooperate. The room spins faster. darkness creeping at the edges of her sight. Then Fenrir is there, appearing at her side faster than should be possible. He lifts her from the chair, ignoring the shocked gasps around them. "She's been poisoned," he snarls. "Find who did this. Now." Callum and Oren materialize from the crowd, flanking them as Fenrir carries Iris from the hall. She feels their panic through the bonds, their fear sharp and metallic. Fenrir brings her to his private chambers, lays her on his bed with surprising gentleness. "I can heal it," she gasps. "You cannot heal yourself." His voice is rough. "Your power doesn't work that way." "Then what?" "There is one option." He kneels beside the bed, his face level with hers. "But it requires you to trust me completely." Through the haze of poison, Iris sees his intent, sees the conflict warring in those golden eyes. "The mate bond," she whispers. "If I mark you, we can share life force. My strength can burn the poison from your system." His hand trembles as he cups her face. "But marking is permanent, Iris. There is no undoing it. And it will cause a political storm that may destroy everything." She can barely breathe now. The poison is shutting down her lungs. "Do it," she gasps. Fenrir leans close, his breath hot against her throat. "I'm sorry," he murmurs, "for all of this." Then his teeth pierce her skin. Pain explodes through her body, followed immediately by heat so intense she screams. But it is not agony, it is transformation. Power floods through her veins, burning away the poison, knitting damaged tissue, forcing her heart to beat strong and steady. The mate bond snaps into place between them with the force of lightning striking earth. Iris arches off the bed as emotions not her own crash through her. Fenrir's fierce protectiveness, his guilt for pulling her into this mess, his longing carefully restrained for weeks, and underneath everything, love so deep it terrifies them both. When she opens her eyes, Fenrir is still kneeling beside the bed. Blood stains his mouth. His hand covers the mark on her throat, warm and possessive. "You carry my mark now," he says quietly. "You are mine, and I am yours." Through the bond, Iris feels what that costs him. The political battles to come, the accusations that will fly, the careful authority he has built over decades, now threatened by one impulsive act of salvation. But beneath that, she feels something else. Relief, as if some part of him has been waiting his entire life for permission to claim what his wolf recognized as mate. Callum and Oren enter the room. They stop short at seeing the mark on Iris's throat. "You marked her," Callum breathes. "Without completing the full bond? I had no choice. The council will lose their minds." "Let them." Fenrir's voice carries alpha command that makes even Callum's wolf duck its head. "Anyone who threatens her answers to me." Iris touches the mark. It burns with phantom heat, a permanent brand that ties her to the Alpha King. Political complication has become political catastrophe. And somewhere in the fortress, whoever tried to kill her is still free. Chapter 4. Ancient Bloodlines. The morning after Fenrir's mark, Iris wakes to sensations that are not her own. Frustration, sharp and jagged, cutting through her consciousness before she is fully awake. Then determination, layered underneath. Fenrir is somewhere in the fortress, dealing with the political firestorm her marking has created. She touches the wound on her throat. It has already healed to a silver scar, but heat pulses beneath her fingertips. The bond between them thrums constant now, sharing emotions in waves that leave her dizzy. Callum arrives as she finishes dressing. His ice-blue eyes track to the mark immediately. Something flickers across his face. Not jealousy, but longing so acute it steals her breath. "The council is in session," he says, demanding Fenrir explain his actions. "Some are calling for your removal from the fortress. Where would they send me? Back to your pack? Or to neutral territory?" He moves closer, his voice dropping. "They fear what you represent. A triple bond has not occurred in living memory. They see it as a threat to the natural order." Iris laughs bitterly. "The natural order that allows packs to be murdered systematically? They care more about maintaining power than protecting lives." Callum's hand finds hers. Through their partial bond, she feels his conflict. "I need to tell you something. About what I learned while you slept." They walk through the fortress gardens, far from listening ears. Winter has stripped the plants bare, leaving only skeletal branches against gray sky. Oren found documents, Callum says, hidden in the royal archives. Records of missing omegas going back decades. Always healers, always young, always vanishing near territories experiencing these mysterious sicknesses. How many? 15 confirmed. Probably more that were never reported. His jaw tightens. Someone is orchestrating this. Not one person, a network. Oren is calling them the Collector, but it is bigger than that name implies. Iris processes this. 15 omegas, stolen over years. Her pack's sickness was not random misfortune, but calculated attack designed to create the exact conditions for her sacrifice. Why? She asks. What do they want with us? That is what we need to discover. They return to find Oren in the library, surrounded by ancient texts. He barely glances up as they enter. Found something. He taps a brittle page. Your family name. Redmayne. It appears in genealogies going back 3 centuries. Iris leans over his shoulder, scanning the faded writing. Her family tree branches back through generations. Names she does not recognize. Then she sees it. A name highlighted in gold ink. Lyanna Redmayne. First Omega healer. Mother of the pack. Who was she? Iris whispers. Legend. Oren turns more pages, revealing illustrations of a woman with copper hair and hands that glow silver. 300 years ago, Lyanna could heal any wound, cure any sickness. She bonded with 3 alphas during the Great War, uniting territories that had been enemies for generations. The illustration shows Lyanna surrounded by 3 massive wolves, her hands outstretched as light pours from her palms. That is you, Oren says quietly. The bloodline runs true. You are her descendant. An Omega who can form multiple bonds, who can heal what should be fatal. Iris's legs give out. She sinks into a chair, mind reeling. That is why the Collector wants me. Not just any Omega, one from this specific bloodline, the rarest of rare. Oren's amber-green eyes hold sympathy. Your blood carries power that others will kill to possess. The door opens. Callum enters with food, setting it on the table with careful movements. You need to eat, and we need to talk. They sit together, the 3 of them in this small corner of the library. Iris forces down bread and cheese while Callum watches with those piercing eyes. I cannot keep pretending, he says suddenly, acting as if this bond between us means nothing. Callum, no. Listen. He reaches across the table, taking her hand. I have lived 10 years believing I did not deserve happiness, that survivors do not get second chances. Then you appeared, and my wolf recognized something I thought was lost forever. Through their partial bond, Iris feels the truth of his words. The ache of loneliness he has carried, the guilt that poisons every moment of peace. I am not asking you to choose, he continues. I know Fenrir marked you first. I know the politics involved. I am simply telling you that when I look at you, I see hope. And I have not felt hope in a very long time. Iris stands, moving around the table to where Callum sits. She frames his face with both hands, seeing the vulnerability beneath his warrior exterior. You saved me, she says. In that clearing, when the rogues attacked. You could have died, but you chose to protect me instead. I would make that choice again. His hands come up to cover hers. Every time, she kisses him. It is not planned, not strategic, simply an instinctive need to show him what words cannot express. The bond between them explodes into full awareness. Heat floods through Iris's veins as their connection snaps completely into place. She gasps against Callum's mouth as emotions crash through her. His fierce protectiveness, his desperate need to keep her safe, and underneath everything, love that has been building since the moment he saw her on that altar stone. When they break apart, both are breathing hard. Callum's eyes have gone wolf-bright, gleaming with inner fire. That was not fair, he manages. No, Iris agrees. But it was honest. Oren clears his throat from across the table. When they look at him, amusement dances in his scarred face. I am trying to help you solve a conspiracy, he says dryly. But please, continue making my research space inappropriate. Despite everything, Iris laughs. The sound feels strange after so much darkness. Freeing. The moment breaks when Fenrir enters. He takes in the scene with quick assessment. Iris sitting close to Callum. The charged atmosphere. The obvious connection. Through their bond, she feels his reaction. Not anger, but resignation mixed with relief. As if some part of him has been waiting for this. The council session ended, Fenrir says. They have demanded I justify your presence here. Present evidence of the conspiracy you claim exists. We have evidence, Oren says, gesturing to the documents spread across the table. Patterns, records, proof of systematic targeting. It is not enough. Fenrir's voice carries weight of authority challenged. They want irrefutable proof that these deaths are connected, that someone is orchestrating them. Then we give them proof. Iris stands, decision crystallizing in her mind. The sickness in my pack came from poisoned wounds, yes? Aconite mixed with something else, Callum confirms. I could identify the physical component but not the magical layer. Godric might know. The words taste wrong in Iris's mouth, but logic demands she speak them. He is the royal healer. If anyone understands magical poisons, it would be him. The three alphas exchange glances. Some wordless communication passes between them. There is something you should know about Godric, Fenrir says carefully. He has served the royal household for 40 years. He was my father's healer before mine. His knowledge is vast, but his methods are sometimes questionable. Meaning he pushes boundaries, experiments with techniques that make other healers uncomfortable. Fenrir moves closer, his presence commanding even in this small space. But he is loyal to the crown. If he has answers about magical poisons, he will share them. They summon Godric that evening. The old healer arrives with his walking stick and penetrating gaze, settling into a chair by the library fire. Iris explains what they know. The deaths, the poison, the magical component that enhanced physical symptoms into something fatal. Godric listens without interruption. When she finishes, he is silent for a long moment. What you describe, he says finally, is a blood curse. Aconite serves as the physical anchor, but the true weapon is magic woven into the victim's blood. It prevents healing, accelerates decay, turns the body against itself. Can it be cured? Iris asks. Only by one with the proper bloodline. Godric's gray eyes fix on her. An Omega healer whose blood carries the counter curse. Someone descended from the mother of the pack herself. The words hang in the air. Iris feels the weight of destiny settling onto her shoulders. The ritual would require my blood, she says slowly, given voluntarily under the full moon. Precisely what your pack attempted, Godric confirms. Though their method was corrupted, forced sacrifice taints the blood, makes it useless for true healing. The ritual requires free choice, willing gift. Then I will do it. Iris's voice comes out steady, despite fear churning in her gut. The other packs affected by this curse. I can save them. No. Fenrir's command cracks through the room. Absolutely not. The ritual will drain your life force. Could kill you. Could, not will. Iris meets his golden eyes. You said yourself we need proof for the council. What better proof than curing the victims? She is right, Oren says quietly. If Iris can reverse the curse, it proves beyond doubt that these deaths are connected, that someone created them deliberately. It also makes her a target. Callum's jaw is clenched tight. The moment word spreads that she can break blood curses, every enemy of the crown will want her dead or captured. I am already a target. Iris gestures to herself. The collector sent rogues to kidnap me, remember? I would rather die fighting than hide in fear. The three alphas look at each other. She feels their conflict through the bonds, their desperate need to protect warring with understanding that she is right. If we do this, Fenrir says slowly, we do it on our terms. Controlled conditions. Maximum security. And you do not go anywhere alone. Ever. Agreed. Godric rises, leaning heavily on his stick. There is one more thing you should know. Before warriors undertake dangerous missions, there is an old tradition. They write letters to their loved ones, sealed and kept by trusted companions. If they do not return, the letters are delivered. He produces 2 sealed envelopes from his robes, handing them to Fenrir. I took the liberty of reminding Alphas Stormclaw and Nightfang of this custom. They entrusted these to me earlier today. Iris stares at the letters. Callum and Oren, preparing for the possibility they might die protecting her. The ritual is in 3 days. Godric continues. On the full moon. I will prepare everything needed. But child, understand. This will change you. Power like yours always demands price. After he leaves, silence settles over the library. Iris looks at the 3 alphas who have become her world in such short time. I am scared, she admits. Fenrir crosses to her, gathering her into his arms. Through their bond, she feels his fear matching her own, his determination to keep her safe no matter the cost. We will protect you, he murmurs against her hair. All of us. I swear it. Callum and Oren move closer, surrounding her with their presence. For just this moment, politics and danger feel distant. There is only this. 4 souls bound by fate and choice. 3 days until the full moon. 3 days to prepare for a ritual that could save kingdoms or destroy everything. Iris closes her eyes and lets herself be held, drawing strength from the bonds thrumming between them. Whatever comes next, she will face it standing. Chapter 5. Silver and Ash. The 3 days before the full moon pass in a blur of preparation. Godric transforms the fortress courtyard into a ritual space, drawing symbols in silver powder that gleam against gray stone. Guards double their patrols. Every entrance is watched. Every visitor scrutinized. Iris spends her mornings training with Callum. Her body grows stronger, her movements more confident. She can predict his strikes now, can counter basic attacks. It is not enough to make her a warrior, but enough to keep her alive while help arrives. Afternoons belong to Oren and his research. They pore over documents, mapping connections between missing Omegas and affected territories. 15 confirmed disappearances. All healers, all from bloodlines that trace back centuries. Someone has been hunting your kind for decades, Oren says one evening, his scarred face grave in candlelight. Building a collection. For what purpose? Power. He taps a passage describing Lyanna Redmayne. Your ancestor could heal any wound, break any curse. Imagine what someone could do with that ability. The political leverage, the military applications. The implications chill Iris to her core. Evenings she spends with Fenrir. Not in his bed, though the bond between them burns with wanting. Instead they talk. About his childhood. About the weight of being Alpha King. About the enemies he has made implementing reforms that older alphas resist. They see me as weak, he admits one night. They stand on a balcony overlooking the fortress grounds. Because I banned blood sacrifices. Because I granted Omegas legal protections. Because I believe strength comes from unity, not domination. You are not weak. Iris leans into his warmth. You are the strongest wolf I have ever met. Through their bond, she feels his gratitude, his fear that he will fail her, as he feels he has failed so many others. The night before the ritual, sleep refuses to come. Iris paces her chambers, mind racing through everything that could go wrong. The ritual might not work. The curse might be too strong. She might die in the attempt. A knock interrupts her spiral. Callum and Oren stand in the hallway. Without speaking, they enter her room, settling on either side of her bed. We will not leave you alone tonight, Callum says simply. They talk until dawn, about fears and hopes, about the future they might build if they survive this. Callum describes the northern territories he dreams of reclaiming. Oren speaks of finding Neve, of seeing his sister smile again without shadows in her eyes. Iris tells them about her mother, about the guilt she carries for surviving when so many died, about wanting to be more than the weak Omega everyone believed her to be. You already are, Oren says quietly. When the sun rises, Fenrir arrives. He looks at the 3 of them tangled together on the bed, fully clothed but intimate in ways that transcend physical touch. It is time, he says. The courtyard fills with witnesses as night falls. Council members, regional alphas, representatives from the affected packs. All come to see if the impossible is real. Iris stands at the center of Godric's ritual circle, wearing a simple white dress. The symbols around her feet glow silver in the moonlight. Fenrir, Callum, and Orin form a protective triangle, their wolves close to the surface. When the moon reaches its peak, Godric explains, you will cut your palm. Let blood fall onto the stones. The power in your bloodline will activate, breaking the curses woven into those who suffer. Iris nods. Her hands shake, but she clenches them into fists. She will not show fear in front of these watching wolves. The moon climbs higher. Then chaos erupts. Rogues pour over the fortress walls from every direction. Not dozens, hundreds. They swarm through gates that should have been impregnable, moving with coordination that speaks of careful planning. This is not random attack. This is invasion. Fenrir shifts instantly, his massive black wolf meeting the first wave. Callum and Orin transform, flanking him. Their wolves form a living wall between Iris and the enemies flooding the courtyard. But there are too many. The defensive line breaks as rogues flank wide, forcing the three alphas to split their attention. Iris sees guards falling, sees blood staining silver ritual symbols, sees the careful preparations destroyed in moments of violence. Then Godric appears beside her, not fleeing, not seeking safety, walking calmly through carnage as if he owns it. Perfect timing, he says. Iris stares at him. Understanding crashes over her with sickening clarity. You, me. Godric smiles. It transforms his weathered face into something terrible. Did you truly believe I was just a kindly old healer? Do you think no one suspected? He sneered. Of course they did. Your father knew. The elders whispered. But I was the crown's healer. Untouchable. Every doubt buried under loyalty. Every voice silenced by fear of what I could cure. Or create. Power hides best in plain sight, child. Right beside the throne, he produces a dagger from his robes. Not silver. Something darker. Obsidian that seems to drink light. I have been preparing for this moment for 19 years, since I placed that mark on you as an infant. He gestures to the crescent scar on her shoulder. That is not a birthmark, child. It is a tracking sigil. I have known where you were every moment of your life. My father discovered my work 3 years ago. Clever man. He found documents linking me to the disappeared Omegas, to the blood curses I created. Godric circles her slowly. I could not allow him to expose me. So I orchestrated an attack on your territory. Made it look like rogues. Your pack buried him as a hero, never knowing he was murdered for discovering truth. Rage floods through Iris. Her weak wolf snarls, pressing against her skin. Ulrich? She manages. My son, forced to cooperate when I threatened to slaughter his entire pack. Godric's smile widens. He played his part beautifully. The desperate alpha. The traditional sacrifice. All designed to make you ripe for rescue by the king himself. You wanted Fenrir to find me. I needed you here, in this fortress, surrounded by power. Because you see, child, I have been collecting Omegas of your bloodline for 40 years. But none were strong enough for the ritual I require. He moves closer, that black dagger gleaming. You are the culmination. The purest descendant of the mother of the pack. Your blood will grant me immortality, unlimited power, the ability to reshape our world. Iris tries to run. Godric moves faster than any 70-year-old should. He grabs her arm, that dagger slashing across her forearm. Blood wells, bright red against pale skin. Godric produces a ceremonial cup, catching the flow. Just a taste, he murmurs. To begin the binding. Pain lances through Iris's arm. Not from the cut, but from something in the blade itself. Poison, magic, both. She feels the three mate bonds flare in alarm. Fenrir, Callum, and Orin trying to reach her. But rogues keep them occupied, forcing them back. Godric begins chanting. Old words that make the air vibrate. The blood in the cup starts to glow with sickly green light. Iris's vision blurs. She is dying. She can feel life draining from her with each drop that falls. Then something inside her breaks. Not breaks. Shatters. The tracking mark on her shoulder explodes with light. The seal Godric placed on her 19 years ago, suppressing her true nature, cracks like ice under pressure. Power floods through Iris's body, not the gentle warmth of healing. This is wildfire, hurricane, earthquake. Her wolf erupts from her skin. The transformation is agony and ecstasy. Bones crack and reform. Muscles stretch and strengthen. Her small, pale wolf form burns away like paper, revealing what was always underneath. She is massive, larger than any Omega should be. Her fur shines silver white, catching moonlight until she seems made of starlight itself. Power radiates from her in waves that make nearby rogues stumble back. This is her true form, Omega Alpha. The paradox that should not exist but does. Godric's eyes widen. Impossible. Iris lunges. The old healer is fast, but she is faster. Her jaws close around his wrist, crushing bones. The dagger falls, clattering against stone. Magic binding the three alphas shatters. Fenrir's roar shakes the fortress foundations. He tears through rogues to reach her, Callum and Oren at his flanks. But Godric is not finished. "If I cannot have you," he snarls, "no one will." He pulls something from his robes, a crystal that pulses with red light. Iris recognizes the magic woven into it, the same signatures from the blood curses. "These are bound to the foundation stones," Godric says. "When I crush this crystal, they detonate. This fortress falls. Everyone inside dies." "You would kill yourself?" Fenrir demands. He has shifted to human form, standing protectively over Iris's wolf body. "Better death than failure." Godric's laugh is brittle. "I have lived 83 years preparing this. I will not be denied by children." He crushes the crystal. The fortress shudders. Stone cracks with sounds like thunder. Explosions bloom throughout the structure as curse runes detonate. Godric runs. Somehow, impossibly, he is still clutching the cup with Iris's blood. Iris shifts back to human form, naked and shaking. The transformation has left her weak. But she can feel the fortress dying around them. Feel the panic of hundreds of trapped wolves. "We have to evacuate," Callum shouts over the noise of collapsing stone. "He has my blood," Iris gasps. "Enough to complete his ritual elsewhere." "Let him go." Fenrir grabs her shoulders. "Your life matters more." She looks at the three alphas, at the mate bonds connecting them, at the fortress crumbling around them and the hundreds who will die if she runs after one evil man. "The choice is not choice at all. Help them," she says. "I will slow the collapse." Before anyone can argue, Iris throws her power outward, not healing, building. She channels energy through her connection to this place, to the stones and mortar, holding them together through sheer will. It is like trying to hold back an avalanche with her bare hands. But it gives people time to run, time to carry the wounded, time to escape before the fortress becomes their tomb. Iris feels herself burning from the inside out, giving too much, draining reserves that should never be emptied. Through the mate bonds, she feels Fenrir, Callum, and Oren, feels them channeling their own strength through the connections, feeding her power when hers fails. Together, they hold the fortress together long enough. When the last person clears the walls, Iris lets go. The structure finally collapses inward, stone and timber falling in clouds of dust that blot out the moon. She collapses too, darkness taking her down into depths where pain cannot follow. Her last thought is that Godric escaped, and somewhere out there, he has her blood. Chapter 6. Blood and Sacrifice. Iris wakes in a field hospital erected in the ruins of what was once the fortress courtyard. Canvas walls flutter in cold wind. The wounded fill every available space, their groans creating a symphony of suffering. 17 dead, 53 injured. The numbers repeat in her mind, each one a weight pressing on her chest. Fenrir sits beside her bedroll, his face haggard. Through their bond, she feels exhaustion so deep it borders on collapse. He has not slept since the attack. has not stopped coordinating rescue efforts and tracking down remaining rogues. Godric? Her voice comes out rough. Gone. We found his trail leading north into the mountains. Fenrir's hands clench into fists. He has 6 days until the eclipse. That is when his ritual reaches full power. Orin appears, carrying documents salvaged from the wreckage. His amber-green eyes hold a wildness Iris has not seen before. I found his records, hidden in his personal chambers. He spreads papers across a makeshift table. Neve is alive. She is being held in an old fortress 3 days' ride north, along with 5 other Omegas. The name hits Iris like a physical blow. Orin's sister. Alive after 5 years of captivity. We leave immediately, Orin says. It is not a suggestion. We need a plan, Fenrir counters. Godric will be expecting pursuit. The fortress will be defended. I do not care. Orin's voice goes flat. Dangerous. I have waited 5 years. I will not wait another day. Callum enters, his silver blonde hair matted with dried blood. He has been leading cleanup efforts, organizing survivors, ensuring the wounded receive care. The council is demanding answers, he says. They want to know how Godric operated under your nose for 40 years, how he corrupted so many guards. Some are calling for your abdication. Let them call. Fenrir stands, every inch the Alpha King despite his exhaustion. We end this first. Politics can wait. They plan through the night. 3 approach vectors. Fenrir leading the main force from the south. Callum attacking from the east with his northern warriors. Orin infiltrating from the west, moving silent and deadly toward where his sister is held. Iris will enter from the north, alone, using the tracking mark that still connects her to Godric as a beacon. Absolutely not, Fenrir says when she proposes it. He needs me alive for the ritual, Iris counters. I am the safest person on this mission. If I surrender, he will bring me directly to where the other Omegas are held. And then I break every curse he has ever woven. She meets each of their eyes in turn. My blood can undo his magic. That is why he wants it. But it works both ways. The logic is sound, even if the risk makes all 3 Alpha's wolves howl in protest. They ride out at dawn. 300 warriors, the largest force Fenrir can muster on short notice. Many are injured. All are determined. The northern mountains rise like teeth against gray sky. Snow begins to fall on the 2nd day, slowing their progress. By the 3rd day, the old fortress appears on the horizon. Stone walls blackened by age and weather. Towers that have stood for centuries. Iris splits from the main force at nightfall. Alone, she approaches the gates. Guards emerge. Not rogues. Trained wolves moving with military precision. They recognize her immediately. The Omega, one breathes. He said you would come. They escort her inside. The fortress interior is surprisingly well maintained. Torches line corridors. Tapestries cover walls. This is not a prison. It is a home. Godric waits in a great hall. He looks different now. Taller, straighter. The frail old healer was an act. This is a man in his prime, power radiating from every movement. Welcome, child. His smile is genuine. Warm. Utterly terrifying. I knew you would not be able to resist. The hero complex runs strong in your bloodline. Where are they? The other Omegas? Safe, fed, cared for. He gestures and guards open a side door. 6 women emerge. Ages ranging from 18 to 25. All with the same copper-red hair. The same green-gray eyes. All descendants of the mother of the pack. Neve is among them. Iris recognizes her from Orin's descriptions. Black hair. Amber eyes. A face that would be beautiful, if not for the haunted expression. You have kept them prisoner for years, Iris says, rage building in her chest. Prisoner. I have kept them alive. Godric moves among the Omegas, touching hair, examining faces. Do you know what happens to Omegas of your bloodline in the wild? They are hunted, stolen, forced to breed like livestock. I have protected them, given them sanctuary. You murdered their packs to isolate them. A necessary evil. He turns, his gray eyes meeting hers without shame. I am building something, Iris. A new order where wolves like you are valued for what you truly are. Power sources, the key to immortality itself. You are insane. I am visionary. He signals guards. Bind her. The eclipse rises in 3 hours. We begin the ritual at moonrise. They drag Iris to the center of the hall, chaining her wrists to an ancient altar stone. The same type of stone where she nearly died months ago. History repeating in cruel circle. Godric begins preparations, drawing symbols, chanting in languages older than written history. The other 6 Omegas watch with dead eyes. They have seen this before, have lived through his experiments. Then chaos erupts outside. Fenrir's forces hit the southern wall. The sound of battle crashes through stone corridors, howls and screams and the clash of wolf against wolf. Godric barely reacts. Right on schedule. Your mates are predictable. The eastern wall explodes inward. Callum's wolf form tears through rubble, his pack flooding behind him. They move toward where the other Omegas cower, establishing a protective perimeter. Get them out! Callum roars, shifting to human form. Move! His warriors obey, herding the terrified women toward the breach. But rogues pour in from hidden passages, cutting off escape routes. Callum fights with desperate ferocity, trying to keep the path clear. 10 rogues surround him in a narrow corridor. Too many even for an alpha of his skill. Through their bond, Iris feels his determination, his acceptance of what comes next. He kills 7 before the rest overwhelm him. A blade, silver and poisoned, punches through his chest from behind. The bond between them screams as his life force gutters. The bond did not simply fade. It tore through her like shrapnel, shredding nerves and bone and thought. She tasted blood that wasn't hers, felt ribs crack inside a body not her own. When it was gone, she was left hollowed, staggering in chains, as if half her soul had been burned away. Callum's last act is grabbing the nearest Omega, a young woman with terror in her eyes, and throwing her toward freedom before his body goes limp. Iris feels him die. The bond does not fade gently. It tears away like a limb ripped from her body. She screams, the sound inhuman. Fenrir feels it too. His wolf form appears in the doorway, covered in blood, howling grief and rage in equal measure. But Godric is already moving. He appears behind Fenrir with impossible speed, that black dagger flashing. The blade scores Fenrir's side, drawing blood, but not killing. 1 down, Godric says. 2 to go. Oren finds Neve in the chaos. His sister stares at him with eyes that do not quite recognize. 5 years have changed her, broken her in ways that will take lifetimes to heal. Neve, he whispers. I am here. I found you. Something flickers in her face. Memory, recognition, hope. Then Godric appears between them. How touching, the old wolf says. The devoted brother, the lost sister. A reunion 40 years in the making. Get away from her! Oren snarls. Or what? You will kill me? Godric laughs. I offer you a deal, young alpha. Her life for Iris's surrender. Walk away. Let me complete my work. And I will release your sister unharmed. Oren does not hesitate. No. Pity. Godric moves faster than any wolf should. His hand shoots out, gripping Oren's throat. Magic flares, black and corrupting. It pours into Oren like poison, eating him from inside. Oren manages to mouth 2 words to his sister. I'm sorry. Then Godric tears his throat out with casual brutality, forcing Neve to watch her brother die, saving her. The second bond rips from Iris's chest. She sags against her chains, unable to breathe through the agony. It wasn't just pain, it was absence. A silence where a heartbeat should have been. Iris screamed, but the sound had no air, no voice. Her wolf collapsed inside her, keening in wordless despair. 2 bonds gone in the span of breaths. A void she knew no healing could ever fill. Days later, the ache still gnawed at her marrow, her steps unsteady, her wolf refusing to rise. Even when she forced herself to breathe, every inhale felt like betrayal. Air moving in lungs that should have been 3. 2 mate bonds destroyed in minutes. The pain is beyond anything physical. beyond anything she has words for. Fenrir staggers, feeling both losses through his connection to Iris. His wolf form flickers, unable to maintain shape through grief. Now, Godric says, approaching Iris with that ceremonial cup. We finish this. He cuts her palm, letting blood flow into the cup. Begins chanting the ritual that will grant him immortality through her sacrifice. But Iris is done being sacrifice. She has lost 2 mates tonight. Has felt them die through bonds that should have lasted lifetimes. That pain has burned away fear, burned away doubt. Only rage remains. She reaches deep inside herself, past the anguish, past the breaking. Finds the core of power that makes her Omega Alpha, descendant of the mother of the pack. Her blood in the cup begins to glow. Not the sickly green of Godric's corruption. Silver white, bright as starlight. What are you doing? Godric demands. What I should have done from the beginning. Iris pours power through her blood, through the connection Godric created, breaking you. Every curse he has ever woven unravels simultaneously. Every pack he infected, every Omega he marked. The magic floods back through the blood connection, overwhelming him. Godric screams. His body convulses as decades of stolen power tears loose, consuming him from inside. His flesh chars, his bones crack. He dies the way he lived, screaming and grasping for power that was never his to hold. When it ends, Iris collapses. The fortress is silent except for the moans of the wounded. Fenrir crawls to her, shifting to human form. Blood covers him. His eyes hold devastation. Through their bond, she feels his survival, and the gaping wounds where Callum and Orin once existed. They have won, but victory has never tasted more like ash. Chapter 7. Ashes and Moonlight. They burn Callum's body on a pyre in the northern mountains where he was born. 300 wolves gather, silent as smoke rises into gray sky. Warriors from packs he saved stand vigil. Omegas he protected place flowers at the pyre's base. Iris watches the flames consume him and feels nothing. The bond where Callum lived has become a wound that will not close. Phantom sensations plague her. She turns expecting to see his ice-blue eyes, reaches for connection that no longer exists. Fenrir stands beside her, his hand gripping hers so tight it hurts. Through their remaining bond, she feels his grief matching her own. 2 mates lost. The triangle that should have been complete forever broken. Orin's funeral happens 3 days later in the Eastern Territories. They bury him beside his mother's grave. Neve stands at the gravesite, her face blank. She has not spoken since watching her brother die. Has not shifted. Has not cried. The 5 other rescued Omegas cluster nearby, equally damaged. Years of captivity do not heal quickly. Some flinch at sudden movements. Others wake screaming in the night. All carry scars that run deeper than flesh. Iris tries to help them, tries to use her healing abilities to ease their pain. But broken minds are not like broken bones. They require time she does not have, and strength she cannot muster. The first month after the battle, Iris moves through days like a ghost. She eats when Fenrir reminds her, sleeps when exhaustion forces her down, exists in a gray space where nothing feels real. The council meets to discuss the aftermath. Godric's conspiracy exposed. Ulrich exiled to neutral territory. Reforms implemented to prevent another healer from gaining such unchecked power. Politics continue while Iris drowns in loss. Fenrir rebuilds. A new fortress rises from the ruins, stronger than before. He works dawn to dusk, driving himself past exhaustion. Through their bond, Iris feels his need to create something good from so much destruction. But at night, when they lie in separate chambers, she feels his loneliness echoing her own. 2 months pass. The rescued Omegas begin to heal. Neve starts speaking again, though her words come slow and careful. She trains with warriors, channeling trauma into purpose, building strength where Godric tried to break her. Your brother would be proud, Iris tells her one evening. Neve's amber eyes hold depths of pain. He searched for me for 5 years, and when he finally found me, I watched him die. Her voice cracks. I should have fought harder. Should have saved him. You could not have stopped Godric. Neither could Callum or Oren. Neve's hands clench into fists. But they tried anyway. They died trying. The words hang between them. Truth that offers no comfort. 3 months after the battle, Iris collapses. She is walking through the rebuilt fortress when her legs simply give out, falls to stone floor as darkness crowds her vision. Through the bond, she feels Fenrir's alarm, his footsteps running toward her location. He finds her curled on cold stone, shaking with sobs she can no longer contain. I failed them, she gasps. Callum and Oren. They died protecting me and I could not save them. You could not have... I have healing powers. The scream tears from her throat. I can break curses, can mend mortal wounds, but I could not save my mates. What good is power if I cannot protect the people I love? Fenrir gathers her into his arms, holding tight as she breaks apart. Through their bond, his own guilt floods her awareness. He feels he failed too. Failed as Alpha King. Failed as mate. Failed the 2 wolves who trusted him with their lives. They stay on that floor for hours. 2 broken souls sharing grief too heavy to carry alone. I cannot do this anymore, Iris whispers eventually. Cannot keep pretending I am whole when pieces of me are missing. I know. Fenrir's voice is rough. I feel them too. The spaces where they should be. Does it get easier? I do not know. His honesty cuts deeper than lies would. But I know we cannot continue like this. The bonds that were severed will poison us if we do not find a way forward. That night, they talk properly for the first time since the battle. About Callum's fierce protectiveness. About Oren's patient intelligence. About all the moments they will never have with wolves who deserved longer lives. Callum wrote me a letter, Fenrir says eventually. Before the final battle, Godric mentioned the tradition, remember? Iris had forgotten. In the chaos and grief, the detail slipped away. Fenrir produces 2 sealed envelopes from a locked box. One bears Callum's bold handwriting. The other, Oren's precise script. I was supposed to give them to you if they did not return. His voice breaks slightly. But I could not. Could not face making their deaths more real. Iris takes the letters with trembling hands. The paper feels fragile. Breakable. She opens Callum's first. His words are simple. Direct. He writes about finally finding purpose again after 10 years of survival guilt. About how protecting her gave him reason to believe in second chances. He asks that she not blame herself if he falls. Says that dying to save the vulnerable is not tragedy but choice. The only choice that matters. The last line destroys her. You made me remember what hope feels like. Thank you for that gift. Oren's letter is longer, more analytical. He details his 5-year search for Neve, describes the desperation that drove him, admits that part of him expected to die in the attempt. Then he writes about Iris, about how her stubborn refusal to accept weakness inspired him, how her presence reminded him that some things are worth the cost. He does not ask her not to grieve. Instead, he asks her to help Neve, to be the sister his sister lost when he failed to protect her. If you are reading this, I have found her, and I have fallen ensuring she escapes. This is victory, not defeat. Remember that. Iris sets the letters down, tears streaming freely. These men knew they might die, wrote final words expecting not to return, yet they went anyway. They made their choices, Fenrir says quietly. We cannot honor their memory by destroying ourselves with guilt. Then what do? We complete what they started. He moves closer, his golden eyes holding hers. We build the world they died fighting for. We protect the Omegas Godric hurt. We make their sacrifice mean something. The words settle over Iris, purpose crystallizing from grief. The bond between us. She says slowly, it is damaged, broken by the others being torn away. Yes. Can it be repaired? Not repaired, reformed. Fenrir's hand cups her face. We complete it fully, not to replace what we lost, but to acknowledge what remains. The bond requires 3 stages. We stopped at marking. If we complete the full ritual, it might heal the damage. Iris knows what he means. the final stage of mate bonding, soul binding, permanent and complete. Are you certain? She asks. Political consequences will be severe. A widowed Alpha King bonding fully to an Omega with no pack status. The Council can burn for all I care. Fenrir's voice carries alpha command that makes her wolf shiver. I have lost 2 mates in as many months. I will not lose you too by caring what old wolves think about propriety. They choose the next full moon for the ritual. The clearing where it began is where they return. The altar stone where Iris nearly died now serves different purpose. Fenrir carves their names into the stone beside ancient symbols, claiming this place, making it theirs. No audience watches this time. Just 2 wolves and the moon bearing witness. The ritual is simpler than Iris expected. They stand facing each other, hands joined. Fenrir speaks vows in the old language, words about protection and partnership, about choosing to bind souls even knowing the cost. Iris responds with her own vows, about trust earned through trauma, about love forged in fire, about choosing to hope even after hope seems lost. When the moon reaches its peak, they both shift. Fenrir's massive black wolf and Iris's silver-white form circle each other. This is the heart of bonding. Wolf recognizing wolf, soul calling to soul. They move together, pressing close. The bond between them ignites, burning away damage left by severed connections. It hurts, feels like bones breaking and reforming, like being unmade and rebuilt. But when it ends, the bond between them is solid, whole, not a replacement for what was lost, but something new forged from survival. They shift back to human form, both breathing hard. Fenrir pulls Iris close, his forehead resting against hers. You are mine, he murmurs, and I am yours. For however long we both survive. That is not very romantic. It is honest. His smile holds sorrow and determination in equal measure. We have seen too much death for pretty lies. But I swear to you, Iris, I will protect you with everything I am. And if I fall, it will be ensuring you live. You are not allowed to fall. Her hands fist in his hair. I have lost enough. I will not lose you too. They return to the fortress as dawn breaks. The bond between them pulses strong and steady. Not perfect. Still carrying scars from bonds violently severed. But functional. Alive. The council convenes a week later to formally recognize the bonding. Some protest. Most accept. The Alpha King has chosen his mate. That is the end of discussion. Iris stands before them wearing simple gray dress. No longer the frightened Omega from a forgotten pack. She has become something else through fire and loss. Someone who broke a conspiracy and saved kingdoms. Someone who bears scars but refuses to break. There will be more fights, Fenrir tells her that night. They stand on a balcony overlooking rebuilt grounds. Godric's network was vast. Others still operate in distant territories. Then we hunt them. Iris's voice carries steel. Every last one. We find them, and we end them. For Callum. For Orin. For every Omega they hurt. Fenrir smiles. It is not a gentle expression. My fierce mate. Your only mate now. The words carry weight of loss. Make that mean something. He pulls her close. And through their bond, Iris feels his determination matching her own. They will build something from these ashes. Will transform pain into purpose. Callum and Orin are gone. But their legacy remains in every life saved. Every Omega protected. Every future moment Iris and Fenrir fight to create. Standing in moonlight with her remaining mate, Iris makes a silent promise to the wolves she lost. She will live. She will fight. She will make their sacrifice matter. And perhaps someday, the phantom ache where they used to be will hurt less than it does tonight. Chapter 8. What Remains. 1 year after the battle that broke kingdoms, Iris stands in a clearing that has become sacred ground. The memorial stones are simple. Granite carved with names and dates. Callum Stormclaw, Alpha of the Northern Territories. Orin Nightfang, Alpha of the Eastern Lands. No grand monuments, just solid rock that will stand for centuries, bearing witness to wolves who gave everything. Flowers cover the bases. Fresh ones, placed this morning by warriors who still remember. By omegas who lived because 2 alphas chose to die. Iris places her own offering. White lilies, the same flowers that filled the bridal suite on the day she was supposed to be sacrificed. Full circle, she thinks. From death intended to death chosen. You are early. Neve's voice comes from behind. The younger woman moves with confidence now. Gone is the haunted survivor who could not speak. In her place stands a warrior, scarred but unbroken. She wears leather armor and carries twin daggers at her hips. Her black hair is pulled back in a practical braid. Could not sleep, Iris admits. Neve settles beside her, studying her brother's stone. I dream about him sometimes. Not nightmares, memories. Good ones from before. Her amber eyes remain dry. She has cried all the tears she has. He would be insufferable about me becoming a fighter. Would claim he always knew I was too stubborn to stay broken. He was right. He usually was. Annoying trait in an older brother. Neve's smile holds fondness and grief in equal measure. The unit is ready. 30 warriors, all volunteers, all committed to hunting down the remaining networks. Iris turns to face her fully. You do not have to lead this mission. No one would think less. I need to. Neve's voice carries absolute conviction. Oren spent 5 years searching for me. 5 years that should have been spent living. The only way I can honor that is by ensuring no other Omega suffers what I did. What the others did. The others. 5 Omegas rescued alongside Neve. Some have returned to their original packs. Others have chosen to stay at the new fortress. Training as healers under Iris's guidance. All carry scars. All are learning to live with them. Fenrir approved the mission? Iris asks, though she knows the answer. She felt his reluctant agreement through their bond last night. 3 days ago. We leave at dawn tomorrow. Neve stands, brushing dirt from her knees. Will you see us off? Of course. They walk together through the forest path that leads back to the fortress. The structure rises against the sky, rebuilt stronger than before. Gray stone and sturdy timber. A symbol of resilience. The kingdom has changed in fundamental ways over the past year. Laws protecting Omegas are now enforced across all territories. Blood sacrifices carry penalty of death. Healers answer to councils, not single rulers. The reforms Fenrir fought for, paid for in blood, are finally taking root. But resistance remains. In distant territories, traditionalist alphas grumble about weakening of the old ways, about Omegas gaining too much power, about their world becoming soft. Let them grumble, Iris thinks. Change never comes without opposition. The fortress courtyard bustles with activity. Warriors train in organized groups. Healers tend gardens of medicinal herbs. Children, yes, children now, play between the buildings. Families have moved to the royal seat, seeking safety and opportunity. Iris finds Fenrir in his study, bent over maps and reports. Dark circles shadow his eyes. He has been working himself ragged again, trying to coordinate responses to 3 different territorial disputes. Through their bond, she feels his exhaustion, his frustration, his determination to hold together a kingdom that wants to fracture. You need rest, she says, closing the door behind her. I need 12 more hours in each day. But he sets down the quill, turning to face her. The bond between them pulses warm and steady, damaged still, bearing marks where 2 other connections were torn away, but functional. Strong enough. Iris crosses to him, settling into his lap. His arms wrap around her automatically, pulling her close. This is their ritual, finding moments of peace between responsibilities. Neve leaves tomorrow, she says. I know. His voice rumbles against her back. I do not like sending her into danger, but I understand why she must go. The reports from the Western Territories, are they confirmed? 3 Omegas missing in the past 6 months. All healers, all from bloodlines tracing back centuries. Fenrir's jaw clenches. Godric's network was larger than we knew. Cutting off the head did not kill the beast. Fear tries to take root in Iris's chest. She pushes it down. Fear serves no purpose now. Only action matters. Then we keep fighting, she says simply. For how long? however long it takes. They sit in silence, drawing strength from proximity. Through the bond, Iris feels Fenrir's conflict, his love for her wars with his duty to the kingdom. He wants to keep her safe, locked away where no enemy can reach. But he knows she would never accept that cage. I visited the memorial this morning, Iris says eventually, placed flowers for them. Fenrir's arms tighten around her. He carries guilt still, believes he failed Callum and Oren, failed to protect them. No amount of logic erodes that conviction. They made their choices, Iris reminds him. Not for the first time, probably not for the last. Callum wrote it in his letter. Dying to protect others was not tragedy but purpose. I know, but knowing and accepting are different things. Iris turns in his arms, forcing him to meet her eyes. You saved me, that night when Godric would have completed his ritual. You and hundreds of other wolves fought so the rest of us could live. Do not dishonor their sacrifice by destroying yourself with guilt. Wise words from my mate. I learned from experience. She touches the scar on her throat. His mark. Permanent and possessive. We are survivors, Fenrir. That is what we do. We survive and we fight and we build something better from the ashes. He kisses her then, slow and thorough, claiming and being claimed. The bond flares between them, sharing emotions too complex for words. When they break apart, both are breathing harder. The council wants to formalize your position, Fenrir says. Grant you title and authority equal to regional alphas. You would have voice in decisions affecting Omega welfare across all territories. Iris considers this. Political power comes with targets painted on her back, but it also means ability to protect others, to implement change at the highest levels. What do you think? She asks. I think you already lead whether they acknowledge it or not. The question is whether you want the burden of official recognition. Will it help us hunt down the remaining networks? Yes. Then I accept. That evening, Iris walks through the healing wing. The rescued Omegas gather for their weekly meeting. Some speak freely now. Others remain silent, their trauma too deep for words yet. A young woman named Astrid approaches. She is 19, stolen 3 years ago. Will you tell us about them again? About the alphas who saved us? They ask this often. Want to hear stories of Callum and Oren. Want to understand the wolves who died ensuring their freedom. Iris settles into a chair, letting the women gather close. She speaks of Callum's fierce protectiveness, how he lost everything once and swore never to fail again, how he died surrounded by enemies, still protecting the vulnerable with his last breath. She speaks of Oren's patient dedication. 5 years searching for his sister. 5 years refusing to give up hope. How he found Neve at last, and ensured she escaped even as he fell. They were mates to you? Astrid asks. They were. The phantom ache pulses. It never quite goes away. And they were heroes to all of us. Later, alone in the chamber she shares with Fenrir, Iris stands at the window overlooking the fortress grounds. Moonlight paints everything silver, beautiful and cold. Fenrir joins her, pressing against her back. Through the bond, she feels his love, his fear of losing her, his determination to prevent that at any cost. Do you regret it? He asks quietly. The bond between us, completing it knowing what we lost. Iris turns to face him. Never. You are what remains when everything else burned away. You are the reason I keep fighting. I thought I would be Alpha King until I died. He admits. Alone, unmated, married to duty. His hand cups her face. Then you appeared, stubborn and brave and absolutely infuriating, and suddenly duty was not enough anymore. Careful. That almost sounded romantic. Do not get used to it. But his smile softens the words. They stand together as moonlight shifts across stone. Two souls bound by choice and loss and love, forged in fire. Tomorrow, Neve leads her warriors north to hunt the remnants of Godric's conspiracy. Tomorrow, the council convenes to grant Iris authority she never wanted, but will wield effectively. Tomorrow the work continues. But tonight they have this. Each other. The bond between them. Memories of wolves who deserved longer lives, but chose how they ended. I spoke to them today, Iris says. Not to Fenrir, but to the night, to wherever Callum and Oren's spirits might linger. Told them we are still fighting, still building, still refusing to break. What do you think they would say? Fenrir asks. Callum would tell us to stop being dramatic and get back to work. Iris's laugh catches in her throat. Oren would point out that standing around talking about them is inefficient use of time. They would both be proud of you. Of us. She leans into Fenrir's warmth. We did not fail them. We finished what they started. The memorial stones stand in the clearing, bearing witness to sacrifice. The healing wing holds Omega's learning to live again. The kingdom shifts slowly toward something better. 2 alphas fell, ensuring this future existed. Their names are carved in stone and memory. Their legacy lives in every life saved, every law changed, every moment of hope carved from darkness. Iris closes her eyes and feels the bond connecting her to Fenrir, feels the phantom spaces where Callum and Oren once lived. The scars will never fully heal, but scars are proof of survival. Evidence of battles won. We are still here, she whispers, a promise to the living and the dead. And we will make it count. Morning will bring new fights, new dangers, new opportunities to fail or succeed. But tonight, standing with her remaining mate, Iris feels something she did not think possible a year ago. Peace. Not the absence of pain. Not forgetting what was lost. But acceptance of what remains, and determination to honor those who fell by living fully. The stones stand. The fortress rises, and 2 survivors face tomorrow knowing that love and loss are not opposites, but companions on the same journey. They are what remains, and sometimes that is enough.